Good afternoon, Year 6. It's Mr. Nicholson here for your weekly art lesson. I hope you've had a lovely week of remote learning. So let's just finish it off with one more lesson this afternoon. So if you've got some plain paper, that would be absolutely fantastic. If not, your topic book will be okay. Don't worry too much about the lines. I'd like you just to pause the video here, please, and write the short date in, so 29.1.21. And our title is Art, Ancient Egyptian Crowns. So pause the video here and write that into your books. Okay, welcome back to the video. So I thought for our artwork this week we could have a look at some of the ancient Egyptian crowns that were worn by the gods in Egyptian times, and you could have a go at drawing one of them. It would also be a nice opportunity for me to tell you a little bit more about the crowns and who used to wear them. So I found a website that I'll go through now with lots of different crown designs on, and then I will show you my waggle as usual, and then you can have a go yourself. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm just going to go over to the internet now. So here is the Outef Crown. And this is the one that I've actually done for my waggle. So this is the crown that I've drawn, and I'll show you a bit later on in the video. The Outef crown was worn during religious rituals. It is basically a white crown which is trimmed with ostrich feathers and has a gold disc at the top. It is worn here by Osiris, who was the god of vegetation and agriculture, which is why he is portrayed with green skin. Osiris was murdered by his brother Seth, who cut his body into pieces and scattered them throughout the lands. After a long search for the parts, he was reassembled by Isis, his devoted wife, who breathed new life into him. So that's the first of the crowns that you might want to do this afternoon. I'm going to go through a few more. So here is the White Crown of Upper Egypt. This one is also known as the Hedjet crown. This crown looks a bit like a bishop's mitre and was probably made from cloth or felt. The white crown was worn by the rulers of Upper Egypt before the unification with Lower Egypt. Like the royal Vulture crown, it has a special association with the goddess Nekhbet. Horus, the falcon god, was usually shown wearing the white crown. So these two are quite simple ones. They are going to get a little bit more complicated as we go through. The next one is the Red Crown of Lower Egypt. The Red Crown of Lower Egypt has a distinctive high crest at the back, with a long rigid line that angles upwards towards the front. Sometimes this line is curled at the end. It was also known as the Deshtret crown. The Red Crown was the emblem of the goddess Neith, who was the patron of the city of Sais in Lower Egypt. The terms Upper and Lower Egypt are confusing, as they conflict with the way that we read maps today. Lower Egypt is in the north of the country, around Cairo and Giza, while Upper Egypt is in the south, around Luxor and Thebes. Okay, the next one is the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. The double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt is also known as the Pachant Crown, or Sekhempti, which meant two powerful ones. The double crown was a combination of the red crown of Lower Egypt and the white crown of Upper Egypt. Sometimes you may find two animal symbols attached to the front of this crown. These are a cobra, representing the goddess Wadjet of Lower Egypt, and a vulture, represent the goddess Nekhbet of Upper Egypt. Together they were known as the Two Ladies. Okay, this crown you may want to draw for art this afternoon is called the Blue Crown. The Blue Crown was also known as the War Crown or the Kepresh crown. It was probably made from cloth or leather, then painted blue. Sometimes it was decorated with golden discs, and a twisting royal Aureus usually adorned the front. It is a military helmet and is often worn during battles and hunting. Ramesses II was depicted wearing this crown in a famous painting to celebrate his victories over the Hittites. Here is the royal Aureus crown. The royal Aureus crown is also referred to as the sacred Serpent crown. The Aureus on the front is a symbol of the goddess Wajet, who was depicted in the form of a rearing cobra. The head of a typical Egyptian figure is seen from the side, but the eye and body are seen from the front. Figures are usually shown wearing a traditional crown or headdress, and a pectoral decoration across the shoulders and chest. Okay, the final two that we're going to look at are very, very difficult, but if you're going to go for gold, you might want to have a go at one of these. Here is the royal Vulture crown. The royal Vulture crown offers protection from the goddess Nekhbet. Nekhbet is frequently represented as a large vulture flying above the head of the pharaoh. Her wings are usually spread open in a protective gesture, guarding him from his enemies. Nekhbet is normally associated with the protection of Upper Egypt, and she is often portrayed wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt. I'm just going to show you the final crown design now. This one's called the Hem crown, and it's really, really difficult, but this could be a challenge for you. The Hem crown is a very elaborate form of the Outef crown, sometimes known as the triple Outef crown. It originated during the 18th dynasty and was first seen in an image of the pharaoh Akhenaten in a tomb at Amarna. It is worn here by Ramesses II. There is a famous example of this crown worn by the young Tutankhamun on the back of the gilded throne that was discovered in his tomb. Okay, I'm just going to go away from this website now and show you my waggle, which I put on the visualizer. So here is the title that we should have written into our books. And the first thing that I did was I just used my sketch pencil just to sketch out the design of my crown. So I've chosen the Outef crown, and here is my design. And I've done the crown at the top, and I've done the face, and then I've done the jewellery around the shoulders as well. So that was kind of step one. And then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of colour. So I decided to use Sharpies today just because I thought that the colours were really bright. So if you've got any Sharpies or any colouring pens in your house, I think they would work really well. But if you've only got colouring pencils, that's okay. I didn't colour the whole thing, mainly because my Sharpies were running a little bit low. But I put some colour on the headdress, on the disc at the top, on the lips, on the eye, and on the neckwear. The thing with Sharpies though is that they're quite strong colours, so the Sharpies hid some of the lines that I'd drawn earlier. So my final step was just to use a black, just to go over some of those lines, especially here on the jewellery, just so they would stand out again. And I just thought that was a really nice way to finish it off. And then I thought, just for those final touches, just like any true artist, I signed my work, and just I've written in the corner that it was the crown of Outef. So this was the first crown that I showed you earlier. So we're on the YouTube video, so what you could do now is you could rewind back through until you find the crown that you would like to draw, and then I want you to have a go at replicating it, just like I've done with the crown of Outef. And just like you've done earlier with your hieroglyphs and your canopic jars, I want you to try and do just as well, if not better than me. Personally, the artwork that's coming from Godrivi has been absolutely brilliant. I've been so impressed with it so far. So spend about 20 minutes, half an hour on your art this afternoon. If you've got any more time this afternoon, you could also tune into the Carby or Head YouTube page and have a look at Mr. Hamlin's Celebration Assembly. Okay, everybody, that's it from me this week. Enjoy doing your artwork. Have a lovely weekend, and you'll hear from me again next week. All the best. Take care. Goodbye.